In today's Insight, Iran is telegraphing a willingness to work with the U.S. and other Arab states to defeat Islamic State terrorists. But Iran is trying to link this offer to a request for more flexibility on its nuclear program, despite the looming deadline for this latest round of nuclear talks. The stakes couldn't be higher when Iranian President Hassan Rouhani addresses the UN General Assembly on Thursday. CCTV's Nathan King joins us live again from the UN with a preview.
Yeah, Mike, it's so interesting, isn't it, where Iran fits into this supposed international coalition against Islamic State. They're outside, but a big power broker within the region, especially in Syria and Iraq, where Islamic State are better. And Hassan Rouhani is much more moderate than his firebrand predecessor, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. But it is expected that when he speaks here behind me in the next 24 hours, that he will defend Iran's right to have nuclear power as much as Ahmadinejad as well. A year ago here in New York, the US and Iran made history when their representatives sat down and talked for the first time in a generation. It was hailed as a breakthrough. Iran stopped producing highly enriched uranium. 6 world powers, including China and the US, agreed to a partial lifting of sanctions. But the talks have stalled, with the November 24th deadline for a deal approaching. While Islamic State has provided Washington and Tehran with a mutual enemy, the two refuse to fight side by side. Iran has deployed troops to Iraq. Rouhani wants to know why the US hasn't too.
How come they are doing only airstrikes? Are Americans afraid of giving casualties on the ground in Iraq? Are they afraid of their, soldiers being killed in the fight they claim is against terrorism?
In his NBC interview, Rouhani shared Washington's outrage over Islamic State's beheading of 3 Western hostages.
They want to kill humanity. And from the viewpoint of the Islamic tenets and culture, killing an innocent people equals the killing of the whole humanity. And therefore, the killing and beheading of innocent people, in fact, is a matter of shame for them.
Despite their common interests, the prospects for a final nuclear deal is at best uncertain, with just 2 months left to resolve fundamental differences.
On paper, Iran could produce enough weapons-grade uranium for a single bomb within a matter of a few months, if they used all of their capacity. I think the U.S. is insisting on pushing that time back to more than a year, and as I said, keeping those limits in place for up to 20 years. And that's something, so far, the Supreme Leader has not been willing to accept.
Rouhani won't accept it either. Before departing Tehran for the UN, he said, "In civilian nuclear technology, we have undeniable rights to develop the country. We will not give it up, and we will continue on this path." Which makes the chances of a final nuclear deal a toss-up. Even at their outset, US President Barack Obama rated those chances at 50-50. Both countries have the domestic constituencies to consider as well. US President Barack Obama is being pushed by Congress to impose more sanctions if these talks don't work. On the other side, Hassan Rouhani also, conservatives in Iran do not trust the Americans at all. These sort of occasions give chance to rise above that and talk to each other on an international level where national interests span generations. But the question is, will they meet? The White House has said it probably won't happen. The also said these take weeks to happen. So it looks like these two leaders will not meet. But the speech that Rouhani gives here in the next 24 hours, all important indication of whether we'll get a deal by the end of November.
All right, Nathan, thanks so much. And we'll undoubtedly have our eyes on the UN again tomorrow.